And we are live. Welcome back to the Wager Wise podcast. Ryan, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. Little dusty today, but ready to talk some fights with you, my friend.
Had a bit of a night.
You know it. How you doing?
Yes, very good. I just got back from Canada, so I'm more on the jet lag side than the hungover side. But you can't keep good men down.
That's
And
right.
with a pay per view like this coming up, how can you stop us? So obviously we've got UFC 322 this weekend. Della Maddalena taking on Islam Makhachev in the main event. Ryan, how are you feeling about the card?
Yeah,
Before
I'm
we dive into
feeling
it.
pretty good. I'm very interested in a lot of betting spots that I've already attacked. Unfortunately, that Malcolm Wellmaker,
Yeah.
Cody Haddon fight
Yep.
isn't coming through. Now he's fighting some guy that served me Macca's the other day. So that
Yeah,
was
I'm spewing about that. That's probably my most anticipated fight on the card. I was really looking forward to that. I got had an, as a decent underdog and was pretty keen, but probably better that he pulled out anyway. Like, you never like to see those two prospect matchups that early and stuff like that. So
of
I don't
course.
mind it. It'll probably come back up in maybe the next fight or a couple of fights down the track. So could always be worse.
Yeah,
Okay, we're going to break these fights down bottom to top as always. Ready to get into it?
let's do it, brother.
Let's do it, my man. All right, kicking off the card at lightweight, we have Vyacheslav Borshev, 8-6-1. What a dreadful looking record that is. Taking on Mateus Camilo, 9-3. Prices, we have a Camilo minus 170 and a Borshev plus 145. I'll kick us off with this one. To be honest with you, I'm kind of I'm pretty confused about this fight. I feel like it's a bit of a confusing fight overall. Um, like obviously Camilo coming off the back of shitting the bed against Gabe Green as I think he's like minus 300 to 400. That's quite large,
Mm.
quite a large favorite. And then obviously coming up against Borshev, like, it's hard to get to him at the juice price, like until he proves that he could justify it. And in terms of the actual matchup, like I think because it's not like Camilo has fought this, great level of competition or anything. He really hasn't. And now he's, taking on Borshev, who has fought a pretty decent level of competition and, has dropped a level, I think pretty fair to say, dropped a few levels, potential to be washed.
I
Don't
think
know if he actually is. You think he is?
I think he's washed.
Yeah, he definitely could be, but he is a good striker and he is pretty tough. Like he is getting chinny these days, and does get wobbled a lot. But hard to deny that he is a tough guy. Like he fights through a lot of tough positions and awkward spots and things like that. So I give him full credit for that. But I feel like Camilo's athleticism probably will get him to be enough. Like I think if you see Slava kind of ripping to the body, being able to extend grappling sequences and fight back up and things like that, I think he's probably a decent chance as the fight goes late. But I'm kind of hesitant to play either guy in this spot. So I'm pretty happy just to pass on this one, to be honest.
Yeah, very, very nice. Yeah, I'm glad to see Camilo getting on a fight card before the year ended. I had a bet on him to win a few weeks ago against El Sawadi, but then it got cancelled because El Sawadi's just a fuckwit who couldn't make weight. I do think this is a little tougher for him, but he won't have to worry about anything other than the striking. But he'll just have to be careful to not make any rookie errors like he did against Gabe Green. Like that was a fight he did very well in. Apart from getting dropped early, he was en route to winning that fight, but gassed out from a failed sub attempt where he put his all into that sub and he was capitalized on by the veteran, immediately taking his back and locking in that rear naked choke. Slava's not going to be a submission threat at all, but he does have pretty good kickboxing, uses a lot of kicks from distance, has nice boxing combos in close. He loves his slip counters, and he mixes in his hooks and upcuts really well. And he'll look to target that liver shot like over and over again. The thing is, Slava's just so hittable in the boxing range, and I do personally think he's like really washed at this point of his career. Like he gets dropped and badly hurt if he does get hit cleanly. And he still hasn't developed a ground game somehow, which is strange because he does train out of that Team Alpha Male team. And for Camilo at age 24, having the Gabe Green fight in the rear view and having the raw skills and abilities he has now, it's likely he's improving at a rapid rate and his skill set is already at a very good level. Like he has a pretty precise Muay Thai style striking, technically very sound and well rounded. He's very effective in his kicking game that can really compromise the opponent's movements, and he has sharp counters as they close the distance. Grappling wise, I think he does have well timed takedowns and slick jiu-jitsu. He's very active with his ground and pound. If he gets taken down too, he'll constantly attack subs from his back, use his jiu-jitsu to get back up or reverse. And I do think Kapila can dictate where the fight goes, and he'll be a step ahead here. I do think on the feet it will be competitive, but I see him just getting ahead by being faster, being sharper, and he could very well drop Borshev as well. But I like the sub here for Camilo. I played that at plus 425 for 0.75 units. I do think he can either get a drop him on the feet, fall him to the ground, and get lock in a sub, or just get a takedown and lock in a sub. So yeah, I'll take Camilo in this fight. I wouldn't play his money line like you said, but yeah, a sub at plus 425 over someone with like very bad ground game. I'll take that.
Yeah, I don't mind the look of that either. I mean, Borshev, like, his sub defense is not great, but he does like prolonged sequences at times. So that's be my only worry. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good shot. Can you still hear me and see me all right?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, I think I'm just having some just being really slow to change tabs and stuff like that. Nobody checked the I've seen the comment. Nobody checked the kangaroo grappling, brother. That is one of the all-time funny clips. Good striking, brother, but nobody checked the grappling. Oh, all right. Let me see if I can change this tab quickly. I don't know what's going on.
Your computer's just freezing up or something?
Yeah, it's just going real slow for some reason, but looks like it's coming back. All right, you can see that, all right?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, next fight off the cab is Bisingar Susakayev 10-0 taking on Eric McConaughey 10-3-1. Prices, we have a Susakayev minus 1,000 and a Eric McConaughey plus 700. Ryan, you lead the way for this one, bro.
Yeah, I think Susakayev just handles business here. I know he went all guns blazing in his UFC debut, nearly got knocked out twice, and didn't look as impressive against a newcomer who went up in weight on a few days' notice. But a lot of that was because of the UFC glazing him through the week, which is warranted, as it's rare. But it's pretty rare we see a fighter win a contract on Contender Series on a Tuesday and fight on a pay-per-view on Saturday that same weekend. But yeah, he's still only 24 years old. He still won that fight, learned his lessons. I'm sure that performance was a good learning curve for him. What went wrong for him there was that he was fighting to entertain, came in with 100% confidence, and Eric Nolan didn't end up being no bum that he could just run through. But Susakayev showed some great weapons, particularly his leg kicking game and opportunistic wrestling. And I do think he can run through Eric McConaughey here, who was 35 years old and just went to a split decision with Cody Brundage. I would like to see a more zoned in performance from Susakayev, because if he comes in chaotic and looking to entertain, then I think he still wins the fight. It might just look messy, and people will still be talking about how he's bound to get finished with that style. But if he comes in with a more measured approach, I do think he can get the fight done in like under a minute or something. Could be as simple as circling the cage, timing the double leg, and quickly working for the sub or ground and pound finish, or timing a counter right as McConaughey would come into range. So yeah, I'll take Susakayev to win this fight. I'm not playing him a minus whatever that number is, but yeah, I think he can win by sub.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a bit of a demolition job. Like, McConaughey doesn't really like getting hit. You can see that, and he's kind of hesitant to engage at times. Like, he's always kind of going backwards, doesn't like going forwards, and he doesn't throw a lot of volume at the best of times. So I'm not really worried about him on the feet. And in terms of the grappling, I think it's one-way traffic here. So I'm with you. I think sub is a big price. Like, Susakayev by sub is like between plus 500 to plus 600 to maybe 700 in some spots. To turn a minus 1,000 into a plus 500 to 700, I'm pretty happy to take that on. I don't think you like want to get juicy with it. Like, there is some pretty nice prices out there. Like, if you look at Susakayev sub round 2, it's like plus 2,800, plus 3,000, and then you look at it plus round. If you look at it round 3 sub, it's like plus 5,000 potential. But I'm not sure it makes it there, to be quite honest. And plus 500 is good enough to get on the prop price. So I think that's how I'm going to play that one as well. So I'll be on that too.
Yeah. Very nice.
Hopefully he just doesn't, TKO him quickly. But I feel like with the way McConaughey is hesitant to get into exchanges, I feel like it could prolong a little bit. But I feel like once it goes to ground, I'm pretty confident he subs him.
100%.
Love that. On the same page there. All right, up the card, we have women's strawweight, Angela Hill, 18 and 15. Again, beautiful record. Taking on Fatima Klein, 8 and 1. Prices, we have a Fatima Klein minus 550 and a Angela Hill plus 400 to plus 420, somewhere in that realm. I think this is one-way traffic again, to be quite honest with you. Like, Angela Hill, I think she's taken a couple steps back in her last fight. Like, her striking it never really offered much. Like, she doesn't have big upside for a finish on the feet. Like, she can be a bit tricky and hit you with some shots from time to time, but she's not a danger threat on the feet. She's looked to, involve a bit more of a grappling in the last few fights, which kind of tells me that she's taken a step back altogether. And I do think she's probably on the cusp of being done. It's career trajectory wise, it couldn't be more of the opposite for Fatima Klein. Like, she's always been this good grappler who's been able to, impose her will and really threaten takedowns. And the only time we've really seen her have issues with that is when taking on Jazz Devicious. And Jazz Devicious on the mat and in terms of wrestling is a very hard matchup for anyone, let alone a girl like Fatima who was coming up in weight at a big size disadvantage and on short notice. So I don't hold anything negative towards Fatima in that fight. And I actually had Jazz Devicious in that fight, but now she, is coming off the back of that awesome head kick against Melissa Martinez. And it shows me that she's just developing her game. Like, she's obviously full-time fighting now. Her striking was never her strong suit, and it looks to be developing, and she looks more comfortable there. So I think she can compete on the feet. I think she's the bigger, she's going to have the more power, obviously, on the feet. I think she could hurt Klein. I think she could hurt Hill here at any point on the feet. And I think in terms of the grappling, it's all her. So, yeah, I think Fatima has huge upside in the fight. I think she probably covers her price tag. Like, Angie Hill is a tough customer, and she can, threaten these girls and extend sequences and things like that and just be kind of tricky and annoying. And maybe that's what happens, but I'm pretty confident Fatima Styles here gets a decent name on the record and keeps moving up the division.
Yep, I'm in full agreement. I think she's parlayable even at these numbers. I think the days of taking Angela Hill at dog odds against young up-and-comers are closing in. Yeah. For a 40-year-old, like, she's still in pretty good shape. We know her style, but like, tag you up with volume on the feet for 15 minutes and hopefully win a narrow decision. She just lacks power in her strikes, and her lack of physicality and defensive grappling holes have been exploited time and time again. And to put it simply, like, Fatima Klein is another a nightmare matchup for her. And I like what you said. She could probably get this done in the distance as well. So yeah, I think it's one-way traffic.
Yeah, on the same page there again. I'm just looking, Klein inside the distance, you're looking at like plus 275, maybe plus 300. Klein by sub is plus 550. Klein by TKO is about the same, maybe upwards of like near 700 odds. So you're getting some nice prices around the park. I worry it's going to be another like gross potential finish spot where she doesn't and looks like she should for 15 minutes, and then Hill somehow fights through these awkward positions. But yeah, I think. Do you think she finishes?
I think there's a possibility that she can finish. Yeah. But Hill is a tough customer. Like, we've seen her hurt, and she just has a way of hanging in there, right?
I do think her chin is starting to fail. Like, I can't get the image of Dern fucking dropping her bad in the 3, 4, 5, whatever it was at the end of that fight. If you're getting dropped by Mackenzie Dern, you're in a bit of trouble. And I think Klein's like striking is developing and looks pretty decent in terms of her overall potential. So I think she could knock her out, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. Though it does work. I think Lucindo went the distance with Angela Hill, and Lucindo does have like a fair bit of pop in the shots. Yeah. So yeah, it could be a disgusting decision, but who knows? Maybe a good round 3 prop, round 2.
We got it last time.
Yeah, for very very small units.
Yeah,
could pay out very well.
Got it nicely in that last time. Again, she's like plus 1,000 plus 1,400 free. So again, there's a lot of ways to play this fight for Fatima Klein. We'll see what we end up on by fight time. All right, I'm curious to see what you have on this one because I I think there's a lot of back and forth this week on this matchup.
Hmm.
Okay, featherweight, we have Pat Sabatini 20-5 taking on Chepe Mariscal 18-6. Prices we have, it's pretty closely aligned. It looks like Sabatini's like drifted, gone to slight favoritism, like minus 115. Chepe looks to be around that minus 105 plus 100 mark. So Sabatini, slight favorite, but all things considered, it's pretty close. How do you see this one?
Yeah, look, there's a lot to like about both fighters, and I'd go as far as to say is they're both my boys. I've played Sabatini at underdog odds against Brito and JSP, fights where he looked minus 400.
Yeah.
And I've bet on Chepe comfortably against Damon Jackson, Ricardo Ramos, and even against Morgan Charrier at dog odds. Did he win that fight? Very questionable, but he still got the win. Um, yeah, it almost brings me pain that I have to decide to fade one of these guys. I'll start with Sabatini. He is one of the best grapplers in the division, and outside of MMA, he competes pretty regularly in the grappling scene. In his last fight, everyone thought Joe Anderson Brito was just going to chin him, and Sabatini probably had one of his easiest fights. Took him down 4 times from 5 attempts and controlled him for like nearly 14 minutes, which is crazy. The worry I always have in Sabatini fights is the striking. Like he does have a sus chin. He was knocked out by Lopez, which you can't really fault, but getting TKO'd by Damon Jackson isn't a good look. And his answers to the questions around his striking isn't by testing it and showing improvements, but it's by making sure he doesn't have to show it at all. Once the bell rings, he moves constantly around the outside, keeps his hands high, stays defensively sharp. Like he'll throw out fast kicks and punches to put something out there and maybe get some damage in, but he will refuse to stay in that pocket. And as soon as the opportunity presents itself, he's shooting for the legs. He'll catch a kick and shoot. He'll throw an overhand as an entry and shoot. He'll force the issue and he will stick to you like glue and chain wrestle his way to the mats. And it's rinse and repeat, exactly what he did to with Anderson Brito. And if an opportunity for a sub appears, he takes it. Otherwise, he's happy to just stay on top. And if his opponents wants to shoot on him, even better, he'll welcome scramble situations or he'll welcome working from his back. Like Emma's had full mount on him and had him in dangerous positions, and he was able to be crafty with his jiu-jitsu and get a heel hook against him. And his opponent, Chepe, I'd say he's the more complete martial artist here. He's battle tested, proven 15-minute cardio, and he was the one who got the split decision win in their first matchup, which I can't find any footage on online. Um, Chepe has a high output, high energy brawling style. He's so explosive in every movement and has an endless gas tank. And on top of that, he does have strong grappling, and I don't see him shying away from it here, which could get him in trouble. But I actually think it's a good thing. Like compared to some of Sabatini's last few matchups, I do think he'll be able to compete. Like he'll be fearless in the exchanges, and most importantly, he's going to force Sabatini to work very hard, and that is one of the most important aspects of this fight to me. A lot of Sabatini's wins are one-way traffic. If he fought a good 15 minutes against Brito, but the takedowns came easy and he was so superior on the ground, I felt like against Brito, he was never in any discomfort, like other than like the beginning of that fight. Once he settles into the fight and get his grappling going, it's all cruise control until he finds the sub or goes to decision, which is a good thing. You want your fighter taking the path of least resistance and being comfortable, which is why I will bet on Sabatini for many more fights to come. But Champion Mariscal is all resistance, and if he can make this a sickening pace, I think Sabatini can struggle here. Like, do I think Sabatini can take him down? I reckon he can. Like we've seen Chepe give up takedowns before, but it will take a lot of effort to get him there. Like he does have very good takedown defense, strong hips, good scrambling ability, and against the fence he works very hard. Like he engages in the clinch battles. Like he will land his knees and punches and elbows to the body and head. He'll disengage, land 2 to 3 big swings, and then clinch again to grind on you. And I do think this pace will wear on Sabatini's gas tank. And if Sabatini gets on top, Chepe is a very hard guy to hold down too. It's very rare he accepts being on the bottom, and he's just so explosive and constantly scrambling. I would not be surprised if he ends up getting a reversal. And if he does, he's not the type to just lay on top to get his own control time. He'll be constantly landing his own ground and pound while simultaneously following Sabatini each step of the way as he's trying to scramble out or trying to reverse. And I honestly can even see a situation where Sabatini wins 3.5 minutes of a round with his control and lose that same round on the scorecards due to Chepe's like 1 minute 30 of doing like pretty good work. Like we do see that happening more often nowadays. So I did take the stab at Chepe here at plus 110. I think it's a close fight, but I actually believe the odds should be flipped to slightly favor Chepe. Like he has the more complete skill set, proven to put in 15 minutes of a hellish pace, and I do think he can wear Sabatini down and maybe even get a late stoppage. Who knows?
Yeah, lovely breakdown. I don't disagree with a whole lot you said. I think the way we've differed is the interpretation of a few key spots. So I'll go through mine and then we can chat after. I'll start with Chepe. Like when he's on the outside, he likes to chip away with kicks to all three levels pretty nicely. He'll close distance when moving forward with 2-3 punch combinations to head. Generally, I don't think he's particularly powerful or like damaging, but he really does just like kind of chip away at your overall XP bar. He's got a pretty opportunistic takedown game, I would say. Like he's not shooting blast doubles or anything, but he does like to catch kicks and use judo throws and trips to get the fight down in kind of random spots. I don't think his control on the mat is the best. He seems to be able to force scrambles and get back to his feet generally if he throws you down. To me, like I didn't like what I saw in the Ramos fight in his last fight. Like he has the perfect style to sort of break a guy like Ramos. And to me, it was kind of shameful that he didn't finish him round 2 or 3 there. Like if you can, in your mind, pick a fight where, Ricardo Ramos, who's great early, terrible late, you can't actually make a better fight for Chepe than that, in my opinion, to break a guy down who's breakable and shown he's breakable in many, many scenarios. So, yeah, I didn't love what I saw there. He had a very gritty fight versus Damon Jackson. Again, that's one that I feel he could and potentially should have finished. But obviously, I'm not saying, I'm not convinced Sabatini has that style of war in him, should it come to that. I do think Chepe's defense has improved. Like he copped a few brutal KOs in his regional time against Brito. I can't remember who the other one was, but like he was knocked out pretty badly. But I think he's slightly less hittable now. So, and even not, like I'm not really concerned with the style like Sabatini's on the feet. On Sabatini, like I think this guy's nickname should be White Kong. Like I say it every time. He's legit built like a fucking silverback gorilla. He's extremely unconventional and has a very awkward style on the feet. Like he's very bouncy. He's got that weird like karate sort of footwork style. He's low volume output wise. He does like to enter range with his kicking offense generally, which is like naked kicks too, which I don't love. What I do love is his ability to scramble once the fight hits the mat. Like he has such good top pressure and control, and he's comfortable just landing enough to stay busy while, looking to maintain dominant position. I think his timing and his speed on his takedown entries are pretty brilliant generally. Like his bouncy footwork style on the feet does disguise his timing slightly. So as much as it's awkward in terms of striking, it actually does benefit his game overall, I would say. His back takes are excellent, and if he gets you back, it's more than likely that you're getting submitted. I still think he's a little fragile on the feet, so obviously there's concern there. But the way he dominated Brito, who's an explosive powerhouse, was super impressive to me, and we got him at nice odds too. He's also very good against the fence, which is where a lot of Chepe fights seem to end up because he's got like this, ugly grinding style where he does end up against the cage, with clinch pressure quite a lot. So if this fight stays on the feet, like no doubt to me that Chepe has decent favorite upside just of volume output and, comfortability and durability. But I'm not really convinced it does. Like the Charrier fight was a bit of a deciding factor here for me. And I know he's, Charrier's probably more, I'd say, athletic than Sabatini, but some of the positions that Chepe gave him, I think Sabatini would really punish some of those mistakes. Like this fight is going to spend a lot of time against the cage. And when it does, I think Sabatini has way higher upside to get the fight to the mat and control. He's always live to get bonked, especially if this turns into like that typical Chepe dogfight. But I think Sabatini's grappling is like decently superior, and I think it is going to spend some time there. So I think he's live to sub Chepe. I could see like an RNC, rear naked choke / arm triangle, depending on what Chepe gives up, because I think he's going to force scrambles. And if you scramble with Sabatini and make a mistake, I think he's going to punish you. So I like Sabatini here. I completely get why you're on Chepe. I think that's why the odds are so close. Like this is going to be a pretty split fight. But yeah, I think Sabatini might sub him here.
Yeah, it's one of those pick your poison kind of matchups. A few of them on this card as well.
100%. It's a very intriguing fight, and it's one that I didn't think I'd be on I didn't think I'd be on Sabatini going in, but I'm pretty comfortable to be on him now, I think.
Yeah, I was strange for me. Like pre-tape, I was actually like looking at a Sabatini play, but yeah, I think the more I watched, if this becomes like that sickening kind of pace that Chepe kind
Yeah,
of brings, then I do think Sabatini can probably drown in it. But again, like Chepe puts himself in so much trouble as well,
100%.
so it could be just one of those fights.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like I see quite a few potential outcomes, but I really like the number on Sabatini by submission. Like you're looking at plus 600 ish sort of area, and I think this fight's going to spend a lot of time in the grappling realm, where Sabatini, in my opinion, is superior. So I think that's a pretty good number to play, to be honest.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm assuming you think Chepe decision probably most likely.
I think Chepe decision or even like a late finish.
Yeah, yeah, I'd
Like
say that's probably most likely outcome for him.
yeah, if I didn't get him early in the week at plus 110, I think he's still like at plus money. But if he's like at minus money now, you might as well just play like maybe the round 3 or by decision, or like
Yeah,
maybe the straight KO line.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's a great fight. Really looking forward to it.
same here.
Okay, up the card to the headlining the early prelims, I believe. Middleweight fight between Kyle Dawkins, 16-4, and taking on GM3, Joe Mearshart, the GOAT, 37-20. Prices, we got Dawkins pretty steep favourite. He is minus 550 to come back on Gerald Mearshart, plus 420. I guess the question is like, how much more does GM3 have to give? Like, he's obviously going to be at an athletic disadvantage here. His chin's kind of gone. I guess my only comment is like, Dorcas was a plus 2, 3, 300, 400, whatever it was to Michel Pereira, gets a good finish, and now he's, minus 550 against Gerald Mearshart. Like, I don't know. It just seems a slight overcorrection with people getting excited. GM3 is probably washed, so like, there's not a whole lot to comment on there, but I don't know. If this goes past 5 minutes, I think GM3 probably becomes fairly more live. The question is, will he get past 5 minutes? Because it's either he generally doesn't when he gets finished. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm not rushing to play any side in this fight, to be quite honest. I think if you do maybe Dorcas early, GM3 late, it's generally how you play GM3. But, yeah, I don't really have a strong input here. I think Dorcas probably wins off youth and athleticism. But I don't really care, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I got nothing more to add. Like, what does GM3 have left to offer, really? Like, yeah, it is a bit of an overcorrection, like having Kyle Dawkins as this much of a favorite, but it could play out that way. It could be as simple as him getting like a very quick KO, but yeah, like he got a KO over Michel Pereira, and Michel Pereira, I'm pretty sure the fight before that against Abus Magomedov, I'm pretty sure he just threw that fight. Like,
back to back.
Back to back. And yeah, I think Kyle Dawkins gets the win here. I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but I think he just gets it done in the distance. Like GM3 is probably going to get bonked, but if he hangs in there like pulls out a win like he used to, then good on him.
Yeah, like you may as well just take GM3 sub 2, sub 3. It's just the easiest way to play.
Yeah.
You're going to get massive odds. If he gets bonked early, it is what it is. You had a small outlay. So Anyway, let's keep it moving. I haven't had time to do anything on this fight. I don't know if you have had a look at this at all.
Nah. I'll just say that I did have. Who did you choose for the original matchup?
I was on Haddon. I think either side at the plus money was probably fine. I had Haddon though. You?
Oh, nice. I had Malcolm Wellmaker minus 120.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure he went. I think he closed at like minus 180, like towards that number. So yeah, I was happy to ride on him at minus 120, but anything further than that, it was probably just a pass. I felt like Cody Haddon would have done very well, but like Wellmaker just has that dead touch.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's going to be similar to one of my breakdowns coming up the card as well. He's gone to like, it's saying minus 400 or 500. I thought I saw that he was minus 1,000 on Twitter, something like that.
I probably will be.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this Ethan Ewing. I believe he finished Billy Brand last weekend. I forget what promotion it was, like a decent promotion. Billy Brand, obviously on Contender Series against, I think it was Cody Haddon, right?
Oh, it was Cody Haddon.
Yeah. So, I mean, decent, not a bad win, but hard to really know what to do here. So, yeah, just a clear pass. See what, I mean, hopefully Wellmaker starches him in fucking 10 seconds and we get a nice price on Cody again if they do that matchup again, but we'll see. Okay, up the card. Women's flyweight, we have Erin Blanchfield taking on Tracy Cortez. Blanchfield 13-2, Cortez 12-2. These two have fought back in Invicta back in the day. I believe Cortez won by a decision. Prices, we got Blanchfield minus 250, Cortez plus 210. Ryan, take it away. Who wins this one?
Yeah, so like you said, this was a rematch from an Invicta fight in 2019 where Cortez, she was 25 at the time, won by split decision against a 19-year-old Erin Blanchfield who was very much still lacking in MMA experience, still hasn't developed physically, and still very raw in her abilities. And she did pretty well. Like she was out physical at key moments. Like Tracy's game plan was just to bully her, and Erin was too reliant in trying to play jiu-jitsu. She had her in an armbar in round one, though gave up control time. But she actually did make the fight pretty close. Like she definitely won the third round and had Cortez in trouble by taking her back. And now 6 years later, Tracy's fought 8 times with some extended breaks in that time, averaging one fight a year. As of recently, hasn't really developed in her overall ability, in my opinion. Just has gotten more battle tested and tougher. While Erin, I think she's been nonstop. She's fought 11 times since that loss, with some unfortunate cancelled bouts, including a main event against Macy Barber cancelled this year. But she's been leveling up all around and getting some valuable experience. I don't usually do MMA math, but I think it's pretty relevant here. Cortez was outmatched completely by Namajunas in a 5-rounder. Absolutely no threat. But she showed toughness and grit to make it to the final bell. And for Blanchfield, who at the time was coming off that very embarrassing showing against Vieira, she showed grit and resilience against Namajunas, despite being outmatched early in the kickboxing exchanges. She was able to adapt, stay busy, get her grappling going in key moments, and success with her boxing followed suit as she ramped up the aggression. And here, I think Erin will show that she's overtaken Tracy as a mixed martial artist in the time since their last fight. Like Erin's now 25 and improving at a rapid rate, laser focused on being a champion, while Tracy is 31. She's at every UFC event, and she's definitely comfortable where she's at in life. Like safe to say, she probably isn't as dialed in as Erin. Like she fought with fake eyelashes in her first main event, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I think Erin will have cleaner kickboxing to counter Tracy's forward pressure style boxing. Erin will not be as reactive to Tracy's pressure this time around. I see her getting more. I see her actually getting takedowns of her own and getting some control time. And I think in her hometown, she will be looking to make a statement, just like she did last time she fought at home. If she made it a close fight at age 19, took her back and had her in trouble, I think this time around, like she could probably be very dominant. So yeah, I think Blanchfield can win this 30-27, maybe even get a sub. Yeah, Blanchfield was the side for me.
I don't have too much more to add, to be quite honest. Same side exactly. I think Blanchfield deserved favourite, decent price. I think she's the more dangerous fighter. Like striking wise, Cortez is the better striker for sure. That's always the case with Blanchfield fights, but she's got no finishing upside whatsoever. And Blanchfield's like tough as fuck. I think Vieira would beat the dog shit out of Cortez, to be quite honest with you. I think she'd slap her up on the feet. I think she'd negate every takedown, and I think she'd just literally beat the shit out of her. So you can't take too much stock away from Blanchfield in that one. I think this is a glorified grappling match, and I think Blanchfield's a way better grappler. The only thing that is stopping me from getting on Blanchfield's sub is that Cortez is pretty fucking tough and gritty. Like she's obviously got that, that Mexican style. So I think it might be hard to finish her. Not to say she doesn't, but yeah, I'm on the Blanchfield side pretty heavy as well. I think it's fair.
Yeah. Very parlayable, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, up the card to middleweight, we got Roman Kopylov 14-4 taking on Hobocop Gregory Rodriguez 17-6. Prices, we got Rodriguez firm favorite minus 185. Come back on Roman Kopylov plus 160. Yeah, I think this is a pretty volatile fight. Like, I get why Rodriguez is the favorite, I guess, because he's a steroided, muscled up, athletic fucking freak. But he's got so many holes in his game, to be honest. Like, Kopylov could literally knock him out here, and I don't think anyone would be shocked. Like, Rodriguez has zero head movement. He's hittable. He's, like, pretty chinny at this point. He's had some bad finishes. So I think Kopylov has a striking advantage for sure in terms of pure speed and technicality. But he's also got, a grappling downside where Rodriguez is much better in the grappling and should and maybe could submit him here. So I think it's a tale of two fights. It's like, which one do you want to go more towards? Obviously, the books are leaning submission for Rodriguez. I don't necessarily agree with that. But regardless, I kind of think there's a finish on the cards here. I'm pretty confident that both guys have a decent enough advantage in both of their skill sets that they can finish each other. So I'm looking at under 2.5, minus 175. It's not too much juice to get involved in. But I think it, negates taking a side and plays to both guys' strength. So yeah, I think Kopylov is best in these matchups where he gets these southpaw versus orthodox battles, and because he's so reliant on his rear side. Like his best shot is easily his rear kick or his rear hand. He doesn't, he's not a great jabber or anything like that. It's clear that his rear side is dominant. So given that Robocop's an orthodox fighter, I think he could have a lot of success in the striking realm. I could see another head kick, brutal head kick knockout for Kopylov here. Even if he doesn't, I think a straight right down the pipe could hurt him. And if these two grapple, I think like the pure physicality of Rodriguez will definitely get Kopylov down. And, he fought off Hernandez for a time, but
Yeah, he did.
I think it might go down the same route where like he might fight off some of the attempts and then eventually just get in one that's too deep to do anything. So yeah, I'm pretty confident on the under 2.5, minus 175. I think that is my most confident way to play this fight.
Yeah, we're both definitely going to be sweating this one together. I got fight to start round 3 at plus 100.
Okay, so okay, I see.
Yeah, so fight to start round 3, and after that, I'll be cheering for you.
Well, we can both win. We can both win.
Exactly. Hopefully, a round 3
start of round 3.
Start of round 3. That would be good. Yeah, look, this is a fun middleweight matchup between two fight finishes. Robocop having 14 finishes from his 17 wins, and Kopylov with 12 from his 14. Combined 22 knockouts between them. I regrettably backed Kopylov in his last fight against Costa, where he completely shat the bed. Got outstruck 99 to 48 in significant strikes, and he just looked at his all-time worst. Like, watching him there made me realize that I completely overlooked his defensive flaws that were just always there. He does have heavy hands, explosive kicks. He's very fast twitched and has bouncy footwork that allows him to be in and out of range pretty easily. And I've always liked his systematic style of kickboxing. Like, he'd dig to the body or attack leg kicks to set up the big head kick KOs, or he'd target the head to bring hands up so he could rip to the body. I just liked how he clearly had a process to his knockouts. But he has pretty shit defense. Like, he just always gets caught straight up the middle. His head snaps back and gives pretty bad optics because like he has long hair too, and it just like shakes, especially when damage piles up. Like, I think he has too much
I don't know if you're lagging or I'm lagging.
trust in his power that he'll eventually land his shot, which it's either attack or defend with him. And against guys with second or third, you can disengage. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he completely froze up against what's his name? Yeah, Paulo Costa. Didn't even look like he wanted to be in there. Just looked like he wanted to be in there and just looked to get to the final bell. Even in his last 2 fights before that, he had to bail himself out. Had a close fight against Chris Curtis where he got tagged up in the boxing range quite a bit, and then just got a head kick in the final seconds. And before that, had to resort to grappling where Cesar Almeida piling on damage on the feet as Kopylov looked gassed and was getting tough. Robocop is going to pose plenty of problems for Kopylov everywhere the fight goes, in my opinion. Like, he's the more dynamic fighter. He's got technical boxing in the pocket, throws nice combos with solid hand speed. He has a high-level ground game. He's also the more battle-tested of the two, like has fought and beaten much better competition, but at the same time, he has pretty shit defense himself. Like, could Robocop get KO'd here? Absolutely. He's been knocked out multiple times, and even in fights when he's won, he's taken some pretty bad damage in there and had to rally back. So since this is an orthodox versus southpaw matchup, Kopilov's body and head kicks are right there, and he whips them out lightning fast. Robocop can also be a little slow with his reaction times and happy to just eat shots as he marches forward. But aside from that, Robocop has fast, straight punches like down the middle that I see snapping Kopilov's head back and maybe even dropping him. In the pocket, Kopilov will just resort to raising his guard and covering up. And here, Robocop can unload boxing combos, high and low, then grab onto the tie clinch or maybe even try to get a takedown. So I see this fight being competitive, which is why, and both guys are pretty tough. So I did play fight to start round 3. I do lean Robocop to win the decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kopilov pulled off the upset.
Very nice. I think
Did my mic cut off at any point?
I don't know what was going on. It was lagging, but I don't know if it was me or you. But it seems to be sorted now, so it's all good.
Oh, hectic! Yeah. You just came up with a notification that my mic stopped working. So
maybe it was that. But yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, but it sounded all good, so it should be fine. Okay. Well, we could both win on that one. We can both win.
Yeah.
There's a chance. Okay. Now up the card, headlining the prelims. We have a middleweight fight between Bo Nickal, 7-1, coming back after that loss to RDR, taking on Rodolfo Vieira, 11-3. Prices, we got a Bo Nickal -220, slight discount for what we used to with the Bo Nickal. The comeback on Rodolfo Vieira, +185. Ryan, lead this one off, my boy.
Yeah, once again, both guys are matched up against another accomplished grappler. Like Bo Nickal's last 2 fights have been against RDR and Paul Craig. And Vieira did fight Petrosky the fight before his last one. I obviously bring up only these fights because that's when they fought grapplers, and there was very minimal grappling in those fights. Like Nickal got RDR down once for a few minutes of control time, and Vieira got Petrosky down once from 11 attempts for only 1 minute 50 seconds of control time. Bo Nickal chose to only stand against Paul Craig, probably because he knew he was a shit striker and didn't want to give him the chance on the ground, and probably wanted to test his striking. And here I think both will have a ton of respect for each other's grappling ability, to where I think it might play out on the feet. And if they do try, I think they'll struggle, as they both have pretty good takedown defense. I would favor Nickal to get a takedown over Vieira because he's more explosive and the younger of the two, and Vieira will welcome the opportunity to work from his back. But also makes me think Nickal will just not shoot. He doesn't want to play in Craig's guard. He didn't want to play in Paul Craig's guard at all, so maybe we might be getting that situation again. And striking-wise, I do believe Vieira has the more developed boxing. He works behind a nice snappy jab, strings together good combos in the pocket, and does carry his hands high. But if Petrosky, who was able to mostly have his way with his unpolished style of striking, then I think Bo Nickal can pretty much compete very well here. I do think Nickal, I think he's southpaw as well, so this will be southpaw versus orthodox. Bo doesn't have the best technique at all. He won't be teaching any boxing classes anytime soon, but he at least has good timing and speed, and he has faster feet and won't have to worry about Rodolfo Vieira crowding him with sustained body attacks in the clinch like RDR did. So yeah, I think Bo Nickal bounces back here. I favor him to win by unanimous decision, as Vieira is very tough. It won't be the prettiest win, and it'll probably be pretty boring, if anything. I can see it looking like his fight against Paul Craig. Yeah, he should be able to dictate the fight, have more moments. He'll be more likely to get the takedown if he wanted it. He's slightly taller, got a 3-inch reach advantage, and it's just way faster with his feet and hand speed, though his boxing is just not as developed. But maybe that's something that he's worked on. So, yeah, I took a shot at Bo Nickal by decision at +140. Played it at 1.5 units.
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I like that breakdown. I like that bet. I'm with you. I think Nickal can probably win most of the moments on the feet because of that speed and footwork advantage, whereas Rodolfo's a little bit more, stuck in the mud, sort of slower style and low volume. Not to say that Bo's super high volume, but I think the strikes that he does land will visually look more impressive than just a Rodolfo jab. The main thing that scares me off is that Vieira is he's gone through adversity in his career and fought back. The only time we've ever seen Nickal face adversity was in that RDR fight, and he melted pretty poorly, to be honest. He did not. That's not a great sign for a championship fighter, in my opinion. to see a guy take shots to the body and just fold like that. Like, obviously it's going to happen. There's an off switch, but I don't know. Would you have ever seen some of these top level guys go down like that early in their careers? I don't think so. So it is a bit of a warning sign. And I actually agree with what you said about the grappling. Like, I think these two will respect each other's grappling to a degree. Like, Nickal has shown that in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if this fight took place on the feet for most of it. But like, if it does go to ground, I think I agree with what you said. Like, I think Vieira will kind of welcome it, and maybe that'll allow Bo to just like survive and take top position and stay safe for most of the time. This does stay on the ground, but yeah, I'm not sold. Like, I think Vieira is a legit black belt. So if it does go to ground, I think he's very, very live. But yeah, I'm not rushing to play Nickal, but I think he probably bounces back pretty nicely here.
Yeah, nice.
It's not one I have a whole lot of confidence on. Like, I want to see how Nickal bounces back from the first loss in his career and goes from there. I'm pretty happy to pass. But if I was to play, I agree. I think decision is probably the most likely outcome. Yeah. Okay, up the card to the first fight on the main card, a lightweight fight between Big Benny, Salt and Pepper George Clooney, Benny Dariush, 23-6, taking on God of War, BSD, Benoît St. Denis, my boy, 15-3. Prices, we got a BSD minus 180 and a comeback on Beneil plus 155. Beneil obviously missed weight this morning, last night, whatever it was.
Did he?
Yes, by 1.5 pounds or 1.25 pounds or something in that realm.
Oh, shit.
Small weight miss. This is the fight I was talking about earlier when I said it sounded similar to what you said about the Wellmaker fight, in that I think Beneil Dariush, like in his day, has a tailor-made matchup for BSD. Like, he is probably the best counter grappler that we've ever seen. Like, in terms of being able to survive takedown attempts, bring the world into this, bring the grappling into a scramble sort of style, and either win top position or negate enough to separate and go again. Like, he's never been the best striker. He has pretty ugly striking, and his durability is clearly waning. But like, if BSD wants to grapple here, I don't see why Beneil would be scared of that. He's fought really good guys previously who employ that sort of style and done fine, like done better than anyone. He's extremely hard to control in the grappling world. So I'm kind of hesitant to say that BSD does do that here, and I think he will like try to engage there. But I think Beneil probably can fight that off long enough. My issue, and I'm scared for Beneil, is that even if he does that, I still think BSD can bonk him at any point, and I think he will. Like, I think it might play out similar to the Frivola fight, where like BSD pushes this insane forward pace, not scared of anything that's coming back at him, and then they come to this clinch sort of square up. Beneil breaks it or scrambles and forces it an exit, and then BSD fucking crushes him on the outside. Like, I think Beneil has shown that his durability is folding, and in a fight with a guy like BSD, that is not a good sign. Like, even if he's going to negate and counter the grappling like that, I still think BSD might land a kill shot here and put him down. So I really like BSD's new camp with Nicholas Ott. Like, he's clearly shown that he's developing, particularly in the striking. So the fact that he has a more well-rounded game, I find it very hard to think that that BSD doesn't nuke him at some point here. As much as it'll hurt to see Benny go down again, I think he might.
Yeah, great breakdown, mate. I love Benny. Like, we both played Benny as a dog against Moicano in his last fight.
Yeah.
But I played him there because they're both old, and I just knew Benny was stronger, had more cardio, and could win off top control in a very sloppy-looking fight. And it played out just like that. But Moicano did drop him in round one, which is not a good look because Moicano drops no one and had no gas from round two onwards. But here I think it could be a rough outcome. Like, BSD is now in a 2-fight win streak, and I do think I don't know, I hate to say it, I do think he could run through Benny, like, with his striking. Benny historically has great defensive grappling, as shown against Gamrot, and while he's very slow, he has good timing with his big shots over the top. But I just think BSD will be able to walk through Benny's strikes, muscle his way like to a clinch, and it's funny, like you said, that outcome with the Frivola thing could very well happen. That's exactly what I have in my notes. Like, he could disengage and then just cop something bad to the chin. And Benny is very chinny as well. Like he's been knocked out 5 times in his career, and as I touched on, he was dropped by Moicano in his last fight. And I think the likely outcome here is for BSD to get a KO. So if anything, I think BSD is pretty generously priced at his money line as well. Like it could be
I agree.
parlayable. And I actually did parlay this with Fatima Klein. So yeah, BSD to get the win here. Sorry, Benny.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that scares me with the -180, it's like if he somehow doesn't bonk him, I feel like he might be on the back foot, particularly like early with just Beneil being able to scramble. But yeah, I agree. Like all things going well, you're probably going to look back at this fight and go, "Fuck, -180 for BSD there." That felt like a discount. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. And I do love his like everything Nicholas Ott is touching right now is turning to gold. So
Yeah, he's doing really well. I like that camp too. BSD by TKO is +160. I'm definitely going to be on that in some regard. I think, yeah, I can't see him going 15 minutes without that. So let's do it. Billy McIver, what do you guys think on the Nickal sub being at 10-1? Is that wide and right casual?
could happen.
I mean, I don't think it's a potential outcome, but it's also like, how much time do you think they're going to spend grappling? We both didn't think there's going to be a whole extended amount of time, so probably makes sense as to why. And like, look, maybe if Vieira slows down late, I think, but early, I kind of think not no chance, but I think minimal chance early, maybe late if anything.
Yeah.
Okay, up the card 2. Welterweight fight between Leon Rocky Edwards, 22-5, taking on Carlos Prates, 22-7, the Nightmare. Prices, we have these right? I thought, okay, it's saying that Prates is -165. I thought he was like -200 area.
Yeah, it's -200 at some point.
Okay, maybe he's had a bit of a comeback on Leon, but yeah. Anyway, the comeback on Leon +145 as it currently stands. Ryan, lead this one off, my boy.
Yeah, so looking into this fight, I saw a tasty plus number next to Leon Edwards' name and just thought to myself, all right, there's going to be no grappling exchanges here to worry about. We've seen Prates get worked for 4 rounds by Ian Gary in the past, and in a pure Muay Thai fight, Leon he's always in a chance to get the win, but man, I just can't go against Prates here. Like there's going to be a clear difference in power and danger. Like the fight may look closely contested to start, and Leon will look good, but to me, it comes down to the fact that Leon can't really hurt Prates as much as Prates can hurt Leon. And Leon doesn't really finish anyone with his hands. Like he's sharp and precise with his punches, but he has like stinging power. Prates, on the other hand, has like lights out power. If the fight goes the distance, it could be a case of Leon landing a bit more volume, but Prates landing the more significant and damaging shots. But also, I think at times Leon can be a mental midget in there. Like maybe that's only when he's getting dominated by wrestlers and he has no answers. But who's to say he doesn't get easily discouraged going back to his stool after a round where he's badly hurt and surviving? Just something to note. Like he does get hurt a lot too. Nate Diaz, Bilal, and Barbarina have rocked him, and none of those names are guys known for their power. This fight will be southpaw versus southpaw, so their lead handwork will be important, as well as the leg kicks. Skill for skill, I do think it's incredibly competitive. Like Leon is more the tactician from range, sets up his high kicks and has good timing with his hands, and Prates' game is just intent on getting the finish. But he is very technical in how he looks to pour on damage. Like he throws plenty of front kicks and teeps and can whip out head body kicks without like any telegraph. He also has a pretty good understanding of his range, and when he does commit with his boxing and straight shots, he is pinpoint accurate, and the power he carries is just devastating. Just look at his knockouts of Li Jingliang, Magny, and Trevin Giles, like all stemming from his rear hand stepping into range. And of course, he can pull out spinning attacks too, like he did with Jeff Neal. He's a threat from all ranges, and he is very lethal with his knee. Like he is. I do think like he can do some damage here with his knee.
I agree.
And one thing that's pretty underrated in Prates' game is his defense. Like he has very good footwork and head movement, and I think he's very hard to hit cleanly. And that mixed in with the threat of his power, I think Leon will have a hard time touching him and committing. And Leon doesn't move the same way Gary does by darting in and out. So I think Leon will be there to get hit often. So yeah, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates here. If he's really down at -160, then that is a pretty good price. But I personally parlayed him at minus 200 with, I think, Blanchfield. So yeah, minus 200 is fine despite Leon being a former champion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like this matchup for Prates too. Like when I think about how this fight plays out on the feet, I find it very hard not to give upside to Carlos Prates. Like if they're fighting at kicking range, you have to favor him. Like he's just way more defensively sound. He's tougher. He's more durable. His output is so much more diverse. Like, and the power threat is non-existent one way and very existent on the Prates side. So on the feet, I think pretty fair to say that Prates, should have the upside. I know I don't even think this might not even spend time on the ground. Like, is Leon going to really come out and wrestle him? Like, I think Prates, he has this moniker of like being this party boy and this, this guy smoking darts and stuff like that. I think he plays into it a bit because, when you see stuff like that and you read stuff like that, you think, wow, this guy, doesn't really give a shit about his career. But he clearly does because he's getting better fight on fight. Like, to even think that he would be able to stuff takedowns, take, Ian Gary deep into round 5, almost finish him in round 5, and negate a lot of wrestling and grappling sequences. Like, I think this guy has pretty underrated jiu-jitsu, and it all sort of plays into his game. Like, he has these long legs, and Leon's been, if he wants to wrestle, I think Prates could, fight it off decently well enough to get back on the feet at least, if not like threaten some subs off his back. So I think it's fair to say Prates has a fair amount of upside in every area this fight could take place. And he's the way more power potential, fight ending potential. So I'm on the Prates side. If it's minus 160, I'm definitely going to be on that. It does worry me that a lot of money's come on the other side for sure. But in my opinion, it's a great fight for Prates at this point in his career. Leon obviously coming after losing the belt, taking another fight, getting dominated by Brady. Maybe it's a get right spot for him, but for me, it feels like a pretty bad matchup, to be honest.
Completely agree.
Beautiful. All right, up the card to welterweight. Another one, we have Sean Brady, 18-1, taking on Michael Morales, 18-0. To be honest with you, like I don't. I'll get to prices first quickly. Sean Brady minus 130, Michael Morales plus 110, plus 115, somewhere in that realm. I don't have a very strong read on this fight overall. To be honest with you, I find it very confusing. I think you got a clear striker versus grappler matchup. I didn't even end up on either side. Like I think, yeah, it's a tricky one because I think Morales obviously is going to have the size and maybe the physicality, particularly late. But Brady's like shucked a few of those. I thought he was a bit of a gas bag for like his first part of his career in the UFC, but he seems to have negated that, and I think he's shown that he's developing in that area. And if he gets this fight down, obviously he's going to be a motherfucker to deal with down there. But I think I should leave this one to you, to be honest. I think you've got a strong read. I know you've got a bet on this fight. I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty comfortable for you to take this one. I don't have a strong read.
Yeah.
I think either guy can win should they get their advantages on the feet or on the mat. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher fights to call on this card. And the winner has a case for fighting for the belt, that's for sure. I did post my pick of Michael Morales on Twitter, and I've been
getting viral, right?
I've been getting blasted on it. But yeah, it actually went got like so much views and so much bookmarks. So I know if Morales loses, I'm going to be absolutely torn apart by the community. But yeah, it is what it is. For me, it comes down to if Morales can start the takedown and keep this fight standing. Like I think Morales' pure striking threat is much wider of a gap compared to Brady's grappling upside. But I do think Brady's grappling upside is a bit huge already. So I do really rate Brady. I've backed him heavy in his last 3 fights. He's a chain wrestler and absolutely relentless with his grappling. He's shown improved boxing that suits his heavy pressuring style, and he times his takedown attempts off his opponents defending his punches. And I do think Brady can be caught way too often, though. And he's been able to bail himself out through his wrestling or just being able to eat the punches and getting back to his pressure. Like he was caught a few times on the way in against Leon Edwards in round 1, ate some fast straight shots that stung him. But like we said before, Leon was never known for his power in the boxing range. Against Gilbert, like he ate some heavy punches and elbows in close that rocked him a little. And he was dropped by Jake Matthews with a right hand down the middle. He also got caught by glancing hooks Gilbert Burns, and at the end of combinations, I notice he kind of just stays there at times after he unloads, like sort of like he's admiring his work and not expecting something to come back. But I do think the threat of the takedown and the pace Brady sets somewhat evens the playing field on the feet against most fighters he's up against. But getting hit by Morales is different. If Morales lands the same strikes that Edwards, Burns, Bilal, and Matthews hit him with, I think it could be lights out.
Yeah.
And um, and I know the Bilal fight was a few years ago, and he ended up becoming champion. But still, getting TKO'd by Bilal is never a good look. But for Brady to get the win here, he needs to get the fight to the ground, and he will either need to submit him or hold him there to rack up a lot of control time. Brady can't afford to fuck around too much on the feet. But I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to get it to the ground as easy as he has in his last few matchups. Like Morales is an athletic specimen. He's a huge welterweight. His takedown defense is pretty good, and he has strong hips. And even if he does get taken down, he does work hard to get back up, as we um, saw in fights against Fugit and Gilbert Burns. And Brady has given up control time or been reversed by lesser grapplers. Like off the top of my head, Gastelum, I think, reversed him on the ground as well in round one. And I do see Brady holding Morales against the fence and trying to grind his way to the back or get an inside trip. But Morales has been in these same positions to Burns and Magny and was able to get back up and escape. In Magny's case, ate a spinning elbow off a break. Do I think Brady can get single or double legs from distance? Sure. Like, though it definitely won't be easy, and Morales will have to be off balance and overextending, which is pretty rare. One thing I love about Morales is that he seems to always have his feet under him, and he has very fast reactions. He does look awkward when he's striking, but I think he has like strong legs. So I do think chain wrestling and a lot of holding is Brady's path to victory. And I just don't imagine Morales being held down and not being able to do anything. Like, I just don't see it. Like, he's way too big, physical, and though he's so young and he's already fighting at such a high level, his striking is beautiful to watch. He manages distance incredibly, and he has very high level footwork. On top of that, he has the grappling ability to compete with anyone. Like, he is an Ecuadorian national champion. Don't know how much that merits, but he does have pretty good. He does have pretty good judo. And I do really like his process. Like from distance, he has great timing with his straight shots, either on the front foot or working on the back, like drawing you into his power. Once he does find his range, he throws fast and precise combos in the pocket, all thrown effortlessly. And if he has you against the fence, covering up at any point, he will definitely get you out of there. Um, how I see this fight going is Brady being on the front foot, crowding Morales, grabbing a hold of him, and making him work against the fence. It might even take him down early, to which Morales will probably spring back up fast, or just make it very hard and like holding him down. And once they're separated and they're standing at distance, when the pace settles a little, I see Morales eventually catching Brady with his piston right hand, like forcing him to cover up or shoot a desperation takedown. And if Brady decides to just raise his guard and cover up when he's getting unloaded on, hoping to weather the storm, I see him getting TKO'd. And because Morales' finishing instincts are just way too sharp. And if Brady shoots a desperation takedown to try to bail himself out, I just don't see Morales falling over and accepting the bottom, letting him off the hook. Like, I think he will defend and be systematic when he defends. He might even end up on top from a sprawl and get his own control time. So yeah, I do like Michael Morales as the underdog here. If he avoids being submitted or held down for over 10 minutes, I think he can very much win this fight in many ways.
Awesome breakdown, man. I'm like just scrolling, Brady's, his fight history. Like, this is the first guy he's really going to have to worry about what's coming back at him in quite a while. Like,
Yeah,
Leon, obviously, everyone thinks him to be this like elite striker, but he's not, the most damaging sort of guy. Gilbert Burns, Kelvin Gastelum, Bilal, Michael Chiesa, Jake Matthews. Like, this is by far the most dangerous guy he's going to have to fight on the feet. So I don't hate your take at all. You've got a lot of conviction, which I like, but yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said, my friend.
yeah,
Best of luck. They're going to come for you.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared. I'm
Yeah.
prepared. I got my tissues and
I like that,
ready
though,
to
mate.
wipe my
Good
teeth.
conviction. It's good. All right, up the card. I was just crafting a little 3-leg parlay that I like in the background. I'm going to give out after the main event. So hopefully you're on the same page. We'll see how we go. Okay, women's flyweight title fight. Weili obviously moving up to challenge Val. We got Valentina Shevchenko, 25-4-1, taking on Zhang Weili, 26-3. Prices, we have Shevchenko slight favorite, -140, Weili Zhang +120. Gonna be honest, I think that price tag is pretty bang on, in my opinion. Like, I think when I picture, this fight, how do I imagine this fight playing? I think Valentina, like, if this stays in kicking range, I definitely favor Valentina. Like, she's the bigger, maybe not the more, maybe not the faster pure striker here, but she's the more technical, more comfortable, better overall for fighter at kicking range. I think if Zhang hangs there, she's going to have some trouble. I think both of these girls have shown they've got, like, maybe not a grappling deficiency per se, but like they can be exploited in the grappling realm. And they both seem to, like, want to engage in the grappling to take advantage of other girls' weaknesses there too. So I think, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them wrestle and both of them have success wrestling each other. But I kind of think that if Weili wants to wrestle, I think she's going to have more issues with wrestling Valentina than vice versa. Like, Val's better. She's probably the better counter grappler. She's safer on the mat typically and harder to, like, really hold down. Whereas Zhang Weili has shown that, like, she can spend minutes on her back potentially at times. And if that happens, plus she's at a striking disadvantage, I think it's pretty clear that Val, in my opinion, should be the slight favorite here. The issue is you're getting Val probably the best time in her career. Like, she's only getting older, and probably fair to say, like, she looks like she's maybe taken a slight step back. But in saying that, like, Weili's 36 as well, and somehow it kind of feels like she's still in her prime, but maybe she's not also. But she's shown as well, she'd be a little bit chinny. I don't think she's necessarily going to have to worry about that as much, although, like, she's shown kicking in terms of kicking defense, it's probably her weak point. Like, she gets leg kicked a bit. She, obviously the flash knockout against Rose. Like, all in all, I kind of feel like Val deserves to be slight favorite, even at this point in her career. So prices make sense to me. If I had a gun to my head, I'd probably say Val by decision. But I think this is a fun fight. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I really like this fight. I think Valentina is the women's GOAT, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this is a legacy fight for both these women. Like, Valentina makes a bigger case for being the GOAT if she wins. And if Weili wins, she's right up there. And this is a tough fight to call, but I do agree with the odds like you. One thing that surprised me off the bat was Weili's age. For some reason, I thought she was younger, but she's arguably in the prime of her career right now. She's a much more complete fighter than she was in her first title reign and her run towards that. Like, she's shown high IQ, sharper striking, better game plans, and her grappling has improved leaps and bounds. Just look at how she handled Tatiana Suarez. Like, she welcomed the grappling and beat her at her own game. And here I think she will need to do the same. Like, Shevchenko is only a year older than Weili, but has shown signs of slowing down. And nowadays she seems to be reliant on her grappling more than ever in her fights. But I still believe she fights at such an elite level. And stylistically, this could play out in her favor. I was really in two minds about this fight. Like, my head was telling me Weili Zhang when I first looked into it, but my gut is swaying me towards Shevchenko, and I think I'm going to listen to my gut this time. Valentina is incredible with her distance management. She stands in that strong Muay Thai stance, and she's like a robot. Like, precise, systematic attacks. Once she gets her reads and sees her targets, she has them side kicks, straight rights down the middle, and teeps that make it hard to just get in the pocket. And I don't think Weili will have the same success she has had in the past closing distance on girls. Like, Weili is fast with her combos and blitzes, but to rough up Valentina on the feet, you need to crowd her, like, sort of like Manon Fiorot did at times. And Weili doesn't have the crowding forward pressure style. Like, her style is, like, way more calculated and educated than to recklessly pressure. But put these two in a chess match from range, and I think that's where Valentina is most comfortable. And I do believe how the grappling plays out could decide who wins. And I won't lie, I don't have the strongest opinions there. I see both having good moments and both being on their backs as well. But I do think if Valentina ends up on top of Weili, she has the top pressure to be able to just wet blanket her for extended periods of time. Like, she knows who she's fighting against, and if she's at an advantageous position on the ground, she won't try to be cute by rushing anything or going for ill-advised sub attempts. And I feel Weili can potentially get reversed from the top because she seems so keen to advance positions and land some damage. Truly a tough fight. I do believe this will go to decision. It'll be 48-47 either way. And if you're getting odds of up to plus 200 on the decision line on either woman, I think either is a fine bet. I personally have a bet on Valentina Shevchenko plus 195 by decision.
Yeah, love the breakdown. Great bet. I think like Zhang can rely on her speed and her physicality at times, particularly against like, fucking like the Yan Xiaonans of the world, like not super physical. The Amanda Lemos, she obviously just dominated with the grappling. Like the fact that Valentina just dealt with Manon like well enough, and I think Manon's probably the most physical fighter in probably the whole division at this point.
How do you think Manon versus Weili goes?
Well, it's a good question, to be honest. I think like if you're Weili, you kind of have to grapple in that fight. And I'm not sure she's able to get her down, to be like, Manon showed such a good ability to keep fights standing, and the physicality difference in that fight, I think, would be pretty immense. So, I mean, I would probably, I think that's a pretty tough fight for Weili. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Manon would probably win that.
Yeah,
same reason as you just said, like too much physicality.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, look, we're on the same page with that breakdown, like almost to a T. So, yeah, I think Valentina should be favored. So, makes sense. All right, main event time. You ready?
I think I am.
All right, let's do it. We got JDM Giacomo Della Maddalena, 18-2, taking on Islam Makhachev, 27-1. Obviously, Islam moving up from 155 to 170. Had some time off, bulked up, and now the boys are going to fight. I cannot wait for this one. Prices, we got an Islam minus 305, the comeback JDM plus 255. Ryan, my friend, does the Aussie retain or does Islam move up and claim double champ status? Please.
It's a truly tough one. Look, no need for introductions with these two. We'll get straight to the point. It's pretty binary, like striker versus grappler. Of course, Islam has very good striking in his own right, but I do see exchanges on the feet favoring JDM's boxing, and I don't imagine JDM finding himself controlling Islam unless he knocks him down and follows him to the ground. So can Jack keep this standing? And if he can't, can he get up? Islam moving up to welterweight. He's packed on more size, more strength, more muscle mass. And Jack, I'd say he has good size and physicality for the division. I wish I could erase the memories of Gilbert Burns and Basil Hafez taking him down easily out of my mind. I know he defended a lot of Belal Muhammad's takedown attempts, but I do think Bilal's game plan was incredibly off in that fight, which is a good thing because we finally saw an exciting Belal fight for once, and we came out of it with an Aussie champion and with Belal without the belt. But to get straight to the point, I think Islam will get him to the ground more than a few times in this fight. But he's just he's too good of a fighter not to. But I am a JDM believer, and I think there is a lot of value in JDM at plus 2xx, plus 250, if that's his price now. Like Islam rightfully favored. Like he is looking on the trajectory to be one of the greats in this sport, but these odds are so wide given there are a lot more to consider than just how they match up stylistically. Like JDM is a career welterweight, and for Islam, it ain't no 10-pound jump. It's from 155 to 170 for his first fight at this weight.
It's probably the hardest jump in the UFC.
100%.
To be honest, it is.
Yeah, because the jump from light heavyweight to bloody heavyweight, you're just fighting fat guys. And
exactly. We see it all the time.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are going to bring up how Islam struggled at times to grapple with Volk and Poirier. I personally am not going to give that too much weight in my capping, but JDM at age 29 has all the confidence in the world, pretty much in his physical prime or about to get there. I think he has the tools to compete, and he's had enough time to prepare. Add on to that, he has a strong team behind him, including the help of Craig Jones and insight from Volk. I think he is very live to cause an upset. Like if he keeps this standing, I know Islam is more than just a grappler. He is a very good striker in his own right, but JDM is exceptional with his boxing, and judging in this sport is finally starting to sway towards meaningful striking exchanges over control time. Maybe if we had the same judges for Volkov versus Almeida judging the Volk versus Islam fight in Perth, it might have been a different result. Who knows? Especially with the noise in that building. I know you can attest to that.
Yeah.
So I do think JDM landing some good punches to Islam's head, stuffing one or two takedowns, but then getting taken down and controlled for maybe 2 minutes could sway in his direction, especially if Islam is just content with just holding. But all up, I do lean Islam to win. I do think he is a truly special fighter. I see this fight going the distance, and I've personally parlayed over 3.5 rounds for this fight with Shevchenko and Weili. Fight goes the distance. But look, sometimes picks and bets don't align, and this is the case for me here. I'm going to take a 1 unit stab at JDM plus 130.
I think you summed it up extremely well at the end there, where you said sometimes picks and bets don't align, and that is the beauty of this game, is that you can pick someone and bet the other, because that's just how sports betting works. And I agree with you. I think JDM has a much better chance than the odds would suggest. Like, let me just get my odds converter up. Plus 255 gives him 28% chance, they're saying. So, I mean, in terms of what you said, I think grappling early, I think Islam's going to have some pretty good upside there. Like, I don't think. Look, is he going to get JDM down? I think almost a certainty that he will, to be honest. He's just too diverse in his takedown attempts. Like, he's got double legs, he's got, trips, throws against the cage. He's dangerous. And his ability to maintain top position through those positions I think will be an issue for JDM. Like, he's shown that he can scramble for sure. And I think the weight differential and all that sort of stuff will take some sort of effect, but I definitely think JDM is going to get taken down in the first 5 minutes, most likely. And I think it's going to be an interesting test to see how he deals with it. But look, he's been put in bad situations before, and he's shown that he's got a lot of grit. Like, I forget, was it who had him in the really deep arm triangle? Was it Amiv or?
Oh, I think Amiv, yeah.
Amiv, maybe on Contender Series, like maybe it was
Arms
Lusa, I think, had him in one as well.
He had him in positions, but I think you're thinking of Amiv.
Yeah, like he's been in a couple of deep, positions before, and he's shown that he's gritty and can fight through them, which I like. What I don't like is that if you give it Islam like an arm triangle or a position like that, you're probably going to get finished. And it seems that JDM does like to, give some opportunities for those DAS front headlock type of submissions, which scares me because Islam's very good there. Obviously, just beat Dustin Poirier there with that, crazy takedown into that. So that is a concern for me. But if this fight gets extended, like, JDM is so defensively aware and safe on the feet that I think Islam's going to find it really hard to hit him well. And I don't think JDM is going to find it particularly hard to hit Islam well. Like, Islam has been taking more damage over the last couple of fights. Like, I didn't think the Poirier fight was an amazing look, but also, like, situation around that fight, it's kind of hard to tell where that ranks. Like, DP, you would think not obviously in the best form of his career towards the end there, but he had some success in that fight against Islam that I didn't think he would have, particularly in the boxing realm. So I think if you're a JDM, believer, that fight probably gives you a bit of credence here. And I think I agree with you. Like, I think Beneil fought a poor game plan in the last fight, and I don't think Islam will do that. So I think he'll give himself opportunities to win. But I also think if this gets extended and stays on the feet, which I think there is a world in which that happens, I think JDM is hugely live 3-4-5. So I'm with you. Plus 255, pretty happy to just have a little stab on that. Like, should Islam move up and do it? Fair enough. But there is a bit more unknown on Islam, obviously, with the weight put on. Will that affect him late? Will that affect it at all? Look, he's feels like a generational fighter. So to get plus 255 against him, it's, it's not a max bet for sure.
Oh, no.
But plus 255 does feel like a decent price tag on a champion who, will be the bigger, more established guy at the weight class and will have an area in which he has an advantage. So, yeah, I'm with you. Feels like a fair enough play. I think, gun to my head, I would choose Islam for sure. But at the odds, it's hard not to be on the JDM side.
Yeah, at these odds, you have to sort of play it.
Yeah. What would you set the price if you think in your head what's a fair price? I probably would say like minus 180 to 200. I think in that realm is fine.
Minus 200 for Islam moving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So you're getting an extra, couple of digits on that. It feels like a bit of a no-brainer.
Oh, of course.
If he gets submitted early, is what it is.
Mm.
All right, and that is UFC 322. There was a funny comment that I wanted to read. Michael Morales is a giant 170er and Brady is tiny. Even though Michael is gay, he will win.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, let's go bottom of the top. Final picks. I'm going to give out this little 3-legger that I was crafting in the background. All right, ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, Vyacheslav Borshev, Mateus Camilo.
Camilo.
Yeah, I think probably Camilo. Baisenga, Suzukayev, Eric McConaughey.
Susakayev.
Yep, Suzukayev for me too. Angela Hill, Fatima Klein.
Fatima Klein.
Yep, Fatima Klein for me also. Pat Sabatini, Chepe Mariscal.
Chepe.
I'm on the Sabatini side on that one. Kyle Dorcas, GM3.
Carl Dorcas.
Yeah, it's hard not to be against GM3 at this point. Malcolm Wellmaker, Ethan Ewing.
Malcolm Wellmaker.
Yeah, I don't know. Haven't done anything on that one. Erin Blanchfield, Tracy Cortez.
Erin Blanchfield.
Yeah, Blanchfield for me too. Roman Kopylov, Gregory Rodriguez.
Robocop.
I think Kopylov might stiff him, eh? I think he might knock him out.
Hopefully in round 3.
Yeah, in round 3. Bo Nickal, Rodolfo Vieira.
Bo Nickal by decision.
Yeah, I'll go Bo Nickal too. Benny Dariush or BSD.
BSD.
Yeah, BSD for me. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates.
Carlos Prates.
Yeah, Prates for me too. Sean Brady, Michael Morales.
Michael Morales.
Yeah, I find this one really hard to pick, to be honest. Let's just go the underdog for the sake of it. Valentina, Shevchenko, Zhang Weili.
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko for me too. And JDM, Islam Makhachev.
JDM.
JDM is the bet for me also.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3-legger I was cooking in the background, I've got, and the first leg is probably the riskiest in my opinion, but Baisenga Susukaya by submission, 650. Benoît St. Denis by KO TKO, 240 plus 140. And then Carlos Prates by KO, 260 or plus 160. 3-legger, getting 40.56 to 1.
Oh,
Big 3-legger.
I like it.
I think if you get a Susukaya by submission, I think the other two feel great. I think you're feeling good coming home. So that's going to be the tester. If we can get through that with submission, I think we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, you'll be sick if Carlos Prates gets like a submission or something.
I will be honestly sick. If he gets a decision, fair enough. But if he submits him, I will genuinely be sick. But we'll have some options to hedge out should we get to that point anyway. So I like it.
Yeah, me too, mate.
I like the BSD by TKO. I'm going to have a bit of action on that one for sure.
Maybe.
All right. Anything you want to sign off with, my boy?
No, I'm good. This is going to be a great card.
I'm
probably
very
my most anticipated card of the year.
Yeah, it's probably the best pay-per-view of the year. Probably not competing with a whole lot, but definitely the best pay-per-view of the year so far. I'm probably going to be doing a UFC watch-along on this channel and on Twitch. So if you guys are interested and you want to hang out, come chat fights. We'll be there. Ryan might pop in for a bit too. We'll see how we go. We'll obviously have our bets riding all day on that as well. Someone's just commented, Sussy, dirty, and greasy parlay. Yeah, big parlay guys here. So big parlay guys.
Yeah, the parlay boys are cooking.
Yeah, let us cook. Other than that, thanks for watching UFC 322. Very, very excited. Subscribe if you haven't. Like, comment. Follow Ryan on Twitter at Desperate Times with a Z1. You can follow me on Twitter at Provide Picks or at Triple Sport, whatever works. Other than that, good luck with your bets. And we will see you next week. What do we have next week?
We got... Who was it?
Is it it's Sarukian, yeah?
Yeah, Sarukian and Dan Hooker.
Yeah. Again, it's a pretty decent card as well. In Abu Dhabi or Qatar? One of those Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah, a lot of guys making their debuts.
We'll be there next week. We'll be back earlier in the week, so make sure you stay tuned to that. Otherwise, thanks for watching.